Hello, everyone. Today is March 27, 2024. I'm Fabrizio Pandini, and this is Cluster API Office Hour. Before starting, just a few information. This meeting abide to the CNCF rule of conduct, so please be kind with each other. If you want to speak, please use the raise hands feature in Zoom. I will do my best to follow also the chat. If you have topics, feel free to add them to the agenda. I've shared in the chat the link to the agenda doc, and in order to being able to edit it, you need to be part of the SIG cluster Lifecycle mailing list. And so we can now get started. And as usual, we give a few minutes for new attendee to introduce themselves. So if you are new attendee of this meeting, you want to introduce yourself, raise your hand and speak. Oh, great. Andrew?
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? Thank you. I'm Andrei Kvapil. We actually do startup. We run KubeVirt on top of Talos and use Cluster API to run Kubernetes in Kubernetes. We do open source product, which is called Cozy Stack. We also have organized some people to write common etcd operator. I think some of you already saw these discussions in Slack. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for driving the TCD discussion. Great to bind a face with a GitHub handle. Is there someone else who wants to introduce themselves? Good. Let's start with today's agenda. So I forgot before, please write your name at the top of the agenda so we know who was here. As far as I remember, we don't have open proposal. Let me check this quickly. Okay, so we can move to discussion topic, and the first one is from Matt.
Thanks, Fabrizio. So this is hopefully not very complicated, but we recently merged PR yesterday. Actually, thank you very much, Fabrizio and Stefan and Lubomir and Christian for looking at it. That turned on machine pools. And while I was doing that, I was looking around at some related documents, and it looked to me like cluster resource set went into beta, however we define that, way back when, a couple of years ago. But we had not updated just a couple documents and maybe cleaned up some cruft related to that. So I opened this PR, but Killian thought that was odd, and I agree. So I wanted to bring it up here and see. So either there were a couple more hoops we intended to jump through before cluster resource set became beta, or else it's been beta this whole time and we just haven't updated some of the docs to reflect that. So I'm curious what people with a little more history think.
I don't know if someone remembered this, but it should be kind of easy to figure it out. If we go at feature, machine pool is already beta. So I think that we just forgot to clean up the docs. And
okay.
Thank you for your PR. I will take a look and try to merge and backport as soon as possible.
Sounds good. Yeah, I just didn't want to do something odd, but I'll take the hold off the PR and we can probably just merge it. It's just docs.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And then from our fantastic release team, Stephen.
You're too kind. Hey, just a quick one, giving people an update that we did release the beta 1 for V17 minor release yesterday, and the code freeze for for this release is scheduled for next week on Tuesday. So just kind of a PSA there, and then somewhat related, if someone has a chance to take a look, I opened a PR for prospective timeline for the next minor release cycle. And that's it.
Thank you. Just as a reminder, so code freeze, after code freeze, we do not merge. We created a release branch, if I'm not wrong. And in the release branch, we backport only fix and documentation and test. So if you have some feature work, it should be finished by next Tuesday. I know that Stefan made a check on what we have in as OpenPR. It seems that we are pretty good. There are one or two that we would like to get into by next Tuesday, but no big work still pending. So it seems that we are in good shape. I would like to add things on top of Stefan PSA. It is crucial that provider help us to validate the next CAPI release. So I know that in CAPV we are already testing CAPI 1.7 on main. And so far no issue. I would like to ask from folks from other providers, is someone else have already started the same job? What?
Yeah, we we pounced on it and vendored beta 0 and beta 1 into CapZ, but we've run into two specific issues that I haven't been able to figure out yet. One of them is in a unit test where for some reason the GVK just doesn't get populated, so the string, it's not interesting why. And it might be our fault, but for some reason it just shows up now. And then we were having trouble with finding templates. So basically we have two issues that may or may not be our own fault, but I haven't figured out exactly what's going on.
Maybe I can help you. So from for the GVK,
yeah,
there was a change. If I remember well, there were Stephanie. If Stephanie is around, you can help me. There was a change in controller runtime, and we had to do some work also in CAPI, maybe. Okay, I will look for the PR after the meeting and post in the channel. Here
I can
it
also
is.
just jump the gun and create a couple issues in CAPI saying this looks like a problem with that, and then we can focus there if that would be simpler. All right, let me do that. I should.
There is this PR where we fixed the same problem. Basically, we make CAPI to work with the new release of controller runtime, and I will link it. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that sounds very likely. It's weird that it's just one single unit test, but maybe that's related.
Yeah, provider using but yeah, if you have questions, feel free to reach out. The sooner we triage issue.
I'll just create two issues right after the meeting.
Yeah.
I should have done so already. I was just trying to make sure that they weren't something we were doing to ourselves.
That's great. I invite everyone to test. More feedback we have, the better. And yeah, let's reach out if you have problem. Good. If that's okay, I will move to the next topic, which is mine. So this is a thing that I honestly discussed at the previous KubeCon, not in Paris, the one last year in the US, with a couple of maintainers, and so it comes together with the last year where we had basically a pool, and we discovered that many projects in Cluster API don't have a roadmap. Cluster API is one of them. And then last year there was a discussion in KubeCon, starting thinking about the 10 years of Kubernetes, etc., etc. So long story short, I think that it is a good moment also for Cluster API to start thinking to the roadmap to the V1 API, which is a thing that we have in our horizon since a long time. In order to start, I created this PR where basically I'm taking inspiration from Tim Hawkins talks that I invite everyone to look at, and I'm trying to write down in the book basically a new page that define where we are going with CAPI and why. So it is not yet the roadmap, is a sort of manifest that helped me to clarify, okay, what is important to do next, why we have to do it, etc., etc. So I invite everyone to comment on it. I will also send a message on the mailing list to make this visible. It is not something that we have to merge in a rush. Let's take the time that is needed, but I think that is, yeah. Also considering some maintainer like Cecile moving to other jobs, etc., etc. It is a good moment to have a refresher of where we are going as a project. And I finished, then I paused it. So I would like to get this merged first. Follow-up step will be, I will start to clean up. We have a discussion about roadmap that is there since a long time, but kind of inactive. I will clean it up and take idea. I plan to do some backlog triage in order to clean up and figure it out what is important in our backlog. And probably maybe here we start up GitHub project board or something where we can brainstorm. But yeah, this will come. So and yeah, I stop and see if everyone if someone has comment about this this idea of working on a manifest and then on a roadmap. Mike?
I mean, I said it in chat, but I'll just say it out loud. Like, I think this is a great idea. Having some notion of where we're going and kind of not only the intentionality behind the project, but like, yeah, what are the milestones that we consider in the future? I think it's really important for the long-term health. And, you know, like you said, for new users coming, they have an idea of what's happening, how they might get involved, those kind of things. So yeah, just big support for me. I'll definitely review the issue you put up there, and yeah, I'd love to see this go forward. So thank you, Fabrizio.
Great. Thank you for the feedback, for the kind feedback. And someone else? Okay, next one is while I was adding the page on the book, I saw that we have this page, which is personas. And it is kind of old. I checked that we are not maintaining it on doing major changes since in the last years. And so I've opened a PR proposing basically to drop this page that might be a little bit confusing, but yeah, open for discussion as usual. Okie dokie. I think that we can move to the next topic. David. Is David in...
Yeah, so
okay.
yeah, sorry, yeah, sorry. Yeah, so I just this issue's been open for a long time on documentation on how to do GitOps basic kind of interactions with Cluster API. And so I have a document up there that gets that kind of initial bootstrap steps up there, and just want to let people know it's up there for review. And yeah, any questions that may come up, that's all.
Thank you very much. It is it is a topic that popped up in a couple of KubeCon and in several discussions. So great to see this moving, and thank you very much. Questions? Okay, so far so good. Let's move on. David and Matt, can we merge?
It's already merged in the meantime.
The
I
answer
think
is the answer is yes.
Okay, next.
Done.
I like that. Easy.
Easy one. Next one, again, David and Willie. Next step.
Okay. So this one, it seems like the tests, if I understand right from Willie, they weren't really working originally, and then, because you wanted to try and try and have, machine pools. Our goal is to get that to stable, GA. You wanted to add this test. This test is working most of the time. It was a flake previously, and it is still a flake, and so it's kind of like I don't know. It feels like it's unfair to hold this PR up due to it potentially having more flakes for something that wasn't really even there in the first place. But I guess we just want to know, should we close it out? Should we, I don't feel like it's fair to just wait for the upstream test to be fixed. And I don't think there's really a whole lot for Willie to do because it passes most of the time, right? Similar to the one that's already there. Go ahead.
Sorry. Stefan?
Yep. Can you scroll down to the last comment? So last comment was basically, if I got it right, that, I mean, the test is definitely flaky on main. So this test has been flaky since we introduced it. And I think we already invested a lot of time to trying to debug it, but we didn't find what the problem is. So just one thing up front, I would definitely not block something like machine pool graduation on having this test green with machine pools, because this test was never really green, even with machine deployments. So what I'm just hesitant is essentially, I mean, if the test is already flaky on main, and I mean, I didn't look at it, but based on what Willie wrote, if that test makes it a bit more flaky, maybe it's just because we have more machines and that makes it more flaky, I don't know. But if it's already flaky on main and this PR makes it more flaky and maybe even introduce like a second like problem, I would just not merge this PR because it's already like very, very hard to debug the test on main. And I'm just a bit, worried that introducing this on top, which makes it more flaky, maybe makes it even harder to debug and ever get it green. So that's just my take. So I'm not really, as I'm saying, I think we shouldn't block graduation or something like that because this test is just not green for anything. But I'm just hesitant to merge this on top and make it even more flaky.
Really?
Yeah, thanks, Stefan. I agree. Like, I don't think we should merge this just because it does fail a little bit more often than the one on main, but it fails in the exact same ways. So yeah, I think our main concern with wanting to merge it is to not block machine pools graduation. But if we think it's okay to not block it on this, then I think it would just make sense to fix the test with machine deployments first. So I think that was like the only concern. So I think we can just go ahead and close this one, if that's the consensus.
I think, of course, I agree. Let's not block graduation on this one. At the same time, I think we should keep this one around. Try to fix the test. Hopefully, after code freeze, this is what we will try to do in the next weeks. And if we can get this the current test a little bit more stable, then we will merge it. So it is always good to have code coverage also for machine pools. So, but let's get there with the right time. Okay, I see a couple of thumbs up. So yeah, maybe just add quickly. This won't block machine pool graduation. We will try to stabilize the test and then merge. And this is, can we get this PR? This is done. Okay. Okay, we are good for today discussion topics, and we are now in provider updates. The first one is from Mike.
Yep, we released a new version of CapK last week. Although I think I'm the one who's using it the most right now. But it's mainly a dependency update, so it supports CAPI 1.6 and Kubernetes 1.28 now. And I guess the next thing we'll be looking at is upgrading to 1.7 and 1.29. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Mike, for maintaining CapK. Next one, Nolan.
Yep, just saying, last week we released version 2.4.1 for Kappa, and we're probably going to have a 2.4.2 release next week for bug fixes.
Great to see this. Stefan.
Yeah, in CapV, we're basically working on getting CapV out as soon as possible after the CAPI release. So we already integrated the CAPI release from yesterday. Everything is green. Also from the other side, we're also already integrating first versions of the cloud provider vSphere, because basically you want to release like all at the same time once CAPI is out, and also relatively quickly after 1.30 is out. It should be like mid-April or something.
Thank you. Maybe it is worth to remind folks this idea of chained release or something that we discussed in the past. So the main point is, which is also written in the manifest, is that cluster API by itself does not really make sense. Cluster API makes sense together with providers. And so the idea is that if possible, we should, as a community, we should all work together to get provider release as soon as possible after CAPI. So, and in this case, it is even more important because CAPI release basically matches a Kubernetes release. So we have basically the chance to have a CAPI release that support a new Kubernetes version and provider supporting the same Kubernetes version in a really short time frame. And this will be great if we can achieve it. And so again, I go back to the previous invite. Start testing early so you can release early, and we can all get feedback and address them before the release. And with that, we are at the end of our agenda. Some last minute topic? Great. Thank you, everyone. See you next week.
Thanks, Fabrizio.